guy. Throws it to Dorsey for the jam.
That is Copeland-esque as Ron Dorsey goes way. Wow! Around the world right now, they will foul.
Ron Dorsey's got to get one up. It looks good.
Have a look at the shot clock. Have a look at the shot hammer. There it is. It goes off. Oh, definitely got it off.
Yeah, he got it off.
But not as much as I thought he got it off. So Ron Dorsey heroics. Look at this. Out of space. Never looked like missing nothing.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I've grabbed RD before, just to have a bit of chat about some things about what we're trying to, not us achieve, but for what you get out of what we try and do. So what we're going to try and do is just strike up a conversation, interview concept, how we look at it, and just get engagement, and then we'll see where it takes us. What we might do is do a bit of a Q&A at a certain point. We might say anyone got questions, and we'll move on, or we might just wait to the end. But if you can start to see that we're getting into something, let's navigate it, and let's let you guys pick up on it. And then put everything that you've learned from the Mavs camp, from church today, from game day learnings, from the tournaments, just from travelling to and from, just from prior to leaving Australia to actually departing from Australia, leaving your parents, not having your parents, and the body, the management, the tyrants, the well-being, all that stuff that we discussed and what we reflected on the other day. Just see how things start to make sense. Does that make sense? Because this is what your journey's about. Basketball in Australia is massive. You don't need to come to America to see the game of basketball. There's differences, there's different opportunities, different levels, but we're in the strongest state in Australia, and we're also getting known for it. So we're actually producing quality stock coming out of Australia, as are America, but our population is less as well. So we've got a lot of things we do, not anyway, it's similar, the same, but the culture is different, how we go about things is different, but this in here now is what the journey truly is about, because I know every single one of you, and what I think you're going to gain out of it. Does that make sense, guys? Does that make sense? All right, so we're going to go. We're going to introduce you as Ron Dorsey. Hello, welcome to, the AD Transit Sports Mind Shift segment, whatever it is.
Round table.
Round table. All right. So, everyone, welcome. So, Ron Dorsey, thank you. Also, thank you for putting us up and being our chaperone and guiding us, and especially creating a tournament. Based on because it was the inaugural tournament, first time, and we felt supposed to be part of that. What we want to try and do is, now these kids have seen you in a small breath, in a small way. Now we're going to find a little bit more about you. We want to know a little bit more about your background, what took you to get here, where you're at, why you are where you're at now. Did your pathway shift and adjust and change direction however many times? But we'll just see where it goes. Happy with that?
Yep.
All right, first thing, basketball background. What is your background from your basketball and where to get to?
How many of you guys watched the Detroit Pistons Bad Boys 30 for 30? That's what I grew up on. And that's what helped me become the player I was when I was playing. But not only that, it helps me in everyday life. Just the tough attitude. You guys remember probably the Rick Mahorn, Dennis Rodmans, the defensive-minded players. When I was playing overseas, I wasn't that 30-point scorer. I was the guy who was going to lock down on defense, get the stop, get my team involved, and then if I needed a bucket, I'd get a bucket. But that just helped me in everyday life, just becoming tough, just being tough, and not giving up on anything, and not taking anything for granted, and like I say, just not giving up. Yep. So that Detroit Piston attitude kind of got installed in me since birth, man.
so the attitude has come, what we say, is more natural.
Yeah.
It wasn't forced upon you.
No.
It wasn't where we got to make you work harder and have a bit more of a better attitude. It just came.
Growing up in Detroit, man. Just growing up in Detroit, nothing comes easy. Nothing is easy. Nothing is handed to us. I know everybody come up in a different upbringing. Some people come up with wealthy parents. Some people come up with nothing. So, I was kind of that in between. My mom had a job. She was a school teacher. My dad was kind of in and out the household. So it was kind of like a single parent household with 4 boys. So just like you say, 4 boys. you got 3 brothers. You got to be tough. And that just kind of got installed when I was younger, you guys' age. And I picked up basketball when I was 5. So growing up, just playing outside with the older guys, I just learned how to be tough in everything I do, and that stuck with me throughout my life and helped me a lot.
So you got to a pretty high level?
Oh yeah. I was blessed enough to play on the professional level overseas. I tapped into the NBA level a little bit when I had a tryout with the Spurs, and that was an amazing experience. Getting out there and playing with Tony Parker and Tim Duncan and Ginobili, just being in that presence. You know, you always dreamed of playing in the NBA, but being on the court with those guys, going up and down with them, like wow, you know. So just all the hard work, man, and I just kept at it. I didn't get discouraged when I didn't get picked up for the Spurs. That was actually the year I was coming off an injury and I got hurt in France, and I went over to the Spurs training facility after that kind of motivated me to go even harder. You know, after I didn't get picked up for the Spurs, they even motivated me to go harder. So I went over to Cairns. That was my first year going to Cairns. So Cairns was my best year overseas, playing on the court, off the court. It was my best year overseas. That's why I got so much of a love for Australia. And then I went down to Melbourne to play for the Melbourne Tigers. We had a 500 season. Wasn't the greatest, but after that they brought in some new coaches, and then I had a 2-year deal there actually. But they brought in some new coaches. They decided to go elsewhere. Then I ended up going to Poland. But yeah, I was blessed to play overseas for 8 years. Started off in Finland, where I had to ride a bike to practice. A lot of people think overseas basketball is this big glory thing, or you getting paid $1 million or $100,000, this and that. No, you got to work your way up to whatever payment that whatever grind that you want to become, or whatever level that you want to become. You got to work your way up. And I started from, I know you guys probably heard it, I get out the mud. You heard that saying, Ryan? I got out the mud, man. I started at a very low paying job over in Finland, 2nd division. But I had a vision though. I knew I wanted to play basketball overseas. I knew taking that step was going to open up more doors for me later on in life. And it did. Every year I doubled my money. The league got better. And I went over to France where it's good basketball. I started off in Pro B. We won, went to the championship, went to Pro A. It was just, like I say, everything in life, I felt like if I work hard at it, I can accomplish it. You know, so that was the story of my career, pretty much. So, like you say, you work for what you get, your result.
So throughout the basketball journey, did you have struggles of all us, some kids, or as coaches, we all get, am I doing the right thing? Am I stuck? Am I going the right direction? Or what's holding me back? Is it person A, person B, is it myself? Do you ever get stuck where you're just a bit confused on the direction because of so many things were happening and you weren't sure which way to go, and how to get out of it?
Yeah, you're always going to come into being frustrated, you know, and I don't let the frustration get to me. I know every road that you go through, you're going to have a roadblock, pretty much. Life, just like the pastor said this morning in church, life, you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, you're going to have horrible days that you feel like you don't want to do anything. But at the same time, you know that you got to keep pushing. For me, it was always me taking care of my family. You know, whether it be, this is before I was married, but this is my Detroit family. My mom, my brothers. And now, since I'm married, I have a child to support. I have my wife to take care of, and I have a house to pay mortgage at. So now it's just a different grind, but it's the same attitude that I had when I was playing. So that's pretty much it.
So then, before your basketball days, now you're into coaching.
Mm-hmm.
You obviously love coaching youth. What's the biggest thing that you find that troubling kids of today in basketball? What's holding them back?
Work ethic, man. Work ethic. Basketball it'll change here and there, but the work ethic, it will never get old. You know, that'll never change.
It's a choice.
Yeah, exactly. it's definitely what you want out of it. I always wanted the most. I was never satisfied. I when I was playing high school basketball, I played with all Americans, McDonald All Americans. I played against when I was playing against them. I wanted to. It was going to be somebody was going to know my name when they were leaving the gym. So it's like you kind of make a name for yourself when you're going against those big time players and different things like that. But something that always stuck with me is just pretty much just working. You got to work. So the kids, what I'll give to you is just continue to work on your craft. Some of you guys won't be professional or collegiate athletes. If you're becoming a doctor or something, stay in the books. You got to work for what you want. All right. So that's the.
It's like when someone sets a goal.
Uh-huh.
So we sit down, we do a plan, we set a goal. So we set a goal, walk out, our chests are pumped out, and we're inspired. But then we forget we've got to do the work in between.
Right.
A lot of people I see, they're outcome driven. They want the glory, but you don't realise how to get there.
Exactly.
And they struggle with getting there.
Right.
And that's why they get frustrated in life because they want this so bad, yet you've got to get step-by-step process, the process.
Like I say, you got to start from the ground. Just like I built Artie Hoop Shorts. And it's, I don't know if you guys seen the sand underneath my logo. It's bigger than basketball. And you got to start from the ground up. I started with one basketball with this program. And that was after I started, after I retired from playing basketball overseas. I wanted to give back to the community, which I saw they needed a need. It was a need for skill development. And it kind of lacks here. Coaches don't have enough time in practice to set that skill, put that skill set into the kids. So the program was, I knew it was going to be success because it was nobody doing it. I have a lot of knowledge of the game. I've been around the game a lot. So it was God's gift for me to give back to the kids. And we've been going for 4 or 5 years now. The community is behind us, and it's definitely it's going to be a hit. Like I say, I'm never satisfied. People say, "Oh, you're doing great things." I said, "Thank you." You always got to thank you. The people that support you, but at the same time, I feel it's going to be way bigger than what it is.
So, fast forward, you've had a good journey. You've had your highs and lows, obviously, normal everyday things that probably are the obstacles. So when we come to struggles, we talk about it's a sport. It should be our enjoyable platform, our outlet. Back home, we feel that sometimes gets caught up, and we don't get to enjoy as much as we should,
Right?
Because there's so much noise or so many things going on the outside. So then we start talking about the struggles. Something's happened to Finn, or something's happened to him, or the dog died, or boyfriend's left, or family issues. The outside world impacts the sport we love. So we park basketball for a second because your story is amazing, and I don't know if all of you know my story of what led to transition sports and my tragic circumstances, but Dorsey is an amazing one as well. So struggles, everyday struggles. Because if we know overcome the everyday struggles, we should be able to overcome the sporting struggles.
Right.
It builds our character, it builds our strength and resilience, all the words we all use, but you've got to experience something to be able to overcome something.
Right.
So, what has been your, and I'm pretty confident it's more than one, but what's been the biggest struggle you've had to deal with ever in your life so far?
Losing my son.
So, we'll go to where you want to go with this, because kids have a rough idea, they don't know the story and how recent.
It's been a year. December 16th would mark the year that I lost my son, Jalen Dorsey. I know Ricky knows about him because he followed me on Instagram and everything. But he was 2 years old. He got sick. Went into he had a seizure. Never recovered from it, and it went downhill from there, and that brought me down to my knees, man. That was the worst thing that ever happened to me. I thought that losing my brother and my granddad when I was 17 was the worst thing, but
so quick park there, and we'll go back to Jalen in a second. We need to go back on that one now. So prior to Jalen, which you thought that would never ever happen,
right?
You had even worse thing happen prior to that, which is your brother and your so we'll go that story for a second. Okay. So what happened with your brother and your grandfather?
My brother was murdered. He was murdered in Detroit, Michigan. I was 17, just signed to go to college, and he was 27. I was 17. I was early morning, And this is a phone call that I wake up to. Matter of fact, I'm sorry. Let me reverse back. We woke up to my granddad passing. He was 87. So he lived a long, successful life. He was here. Rest in peace, Joe. And then we're trying to ring my brother. Never answered the phone. Steadily trying to ring him, trying to ring him, trying to update him on the news, but never answer the phone. So this is when we have the police come to our house. And this is after we got back from the hospital, from my granddad passing. So we still like, hey, where's my brother? Trying to reach out to my brother. And then, like I said, the police come and inform us of what's going on. Just tragic, man. And like I said, that was, before losing my son, that was the worst day of my life. And like I say, all of these hurdles, all of these struggles made me even tougher. And to this day, I still give everything that I do to my granddad and my brother that's looking down, and Jalen now that's looking down on us. And everything I do it for a reason. So I don't take life for granted at all. I wake up every day, hit my knees, thank God for waking me up for another day. And it's tough. It's tough. You guys may never have known that at all because I keep a huge smile on my face. And my daughter know. That's why I kiss her 1,000,000 times a day. How many times I give you a kiss? 1,000,000 times a day. And I tell her how I love you what?
So much.
So much, man. I mean, every second I cherish my kids and my family. So,
And this is where that's just so tragic. I'm just trying to get these kids to understand that you're going through so many big impact things in life. I've been through tragic.
Mm-hmm.
I get trauma. I'm not different stories, but horrific stories.
Right.
So I was talking to RD today before. I said, but you get up, you fuel yourself to go out and give the world what we think we're having an impact with people.
Right.
We think our dream, our passion is to get up, help people. That's what we do.
That's our calling.
Yeah. But when we get home, the calling stops. What happens to people like me and RD is we crash and burn. We suffocate into the consumption of all the emotions that we've had to carry for the day. First of all, to get out of bed, to inspire other people, to carry their emotion, keep them going, keep them motivated, and give them the reasons why they got to keep going. Yet when we get home,
who's motivating us?
Yeah, and we're worn down. So what we got to do is trying to re-energize in enough time, spend time with our family, get enough time, get enough juices in our system to wake up next morning and say we're going to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
That's 365 days of the year, every year.
Yeah.
And then what will happen is, like, so RD's had that's two massive stories. You'd think it can't be any worse, and bang, you've survived and something else comes. You keep surviving though.
Mm-hmm.
He keeps getting up and doing his thing and doing his calling, whatever we call it. And, my struggles, I'll tell you guys another time because it's more about him, but I know I still struggle every day. But I try and use those struggles to energize back through you so you don't have those struggles. That's why we're so passionate about trying to utilize experiences like these. And that's where I get really emotional, and you see me get frustrated. That's more the things you shouldn't be getting frustrated about, what you guys are doing and the choices you're making. You go, but hang on, you can control half of this. We can then help support the rest. Mm-hmm. But what we're so passionate about is you're missing the opportunity. We don't want you to go through these stories. Now, the ones that don't know mine, you can come and ask me. Okay? The ones who do, you get it. If you don't know the actual full details, I'm an open book. I'll talk to you about it. I wrote a book on it. So we've been through it. So we just want to try and highlight, and we're going to go more into is how then do we move forward? Going back to sport, how we try and utilise sport as that outlet, that positive platform, but also how we use those life learning experiences. The decisions you make working together, whether you're working as a team or in an office. Whether he's my coach, he's my boss. Mm-hmm. My team manager might be my supervisor. It all works out. And then you got your family and upbringings and learnings and all that stuff. So going back to sport now. Mm-hmm. Go back to Jalen. Mm-hmm. So with Jalen, so how'd you, little like your brother, that would have been horrific, but Jalen again, what did you do 2 days later?
I had a basketball camp. And the parents thought I was crazy because I still was throwing my basketball camp. I buried him on the 22nd of my camp was the 24th. And I knew he wouldn't have wanted it no other way. So, like you said, reaching out to you guys and giving our passion to you guys, and you guys giving us your hard work, your attention, and your dedication. That's what help us. That's what keep us going. So, like you said, I had my camp the next day. Had about 50 kids in the gym. I actually shared my story with them as well. I don't have a problem with sharing my story and what I've been through. Some people might mind it, but I don't have a problem with doing it because it might help somebody else. All right, with y'all life lessons or whatever that you're going through, or whatever you think that's so hard that you can't get past. Just know that somebody else is going through something that's worse than what your situation is. And like I say, 2 days later, I had my basketball camp, and it was a success. It was a success, and this is what's been helping me get through it: basketball, family, and God. So it's keeping the faith. I have a tattoo of Jalen when I was walking with him. He got my jersey on right there, and the scripture is the Proverbs 3:5, which reads, lean into his understanding and not your own understanding. You understand? You guys understand what that means? Lean into God's understanding. We can't question what he has in plan for us. And like you say, that's our belief over here. I don't know how it is in Australia, but over here, you know, we have to let it go and keep it in God's hands. And I can't question his word. He gave me an angel for 2 years, and I know he has something that's a lot better than planned for us down the line for me and my family. So that's it.
Mate.
Yeah.
So when we go through struggles and your knees on the ground and we got to get back up, we go back into a sports perspective. How do they make them look at more simply, less complicated? That how do we just get through these? These obviously going to come. We're not going to get pitched. We're not going to get court time. We're not going to make. We're going to miss a shot. Mm-hmm. We're going to make a mistake.
Yeah.
The offense won't work the way it should be worked.
Right.
A teammate's not going to pass you the ball. All the things that sound complicated aren't that complicated. Mm-hmm. How do we simplify these struggles? Because what a lot of these guys struggle with is so simple, they're making it complicated.
Right.
Yes,
right.
They haven't even lived life yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you get what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
How would you sort of?
I tell my kids all the time they come in for training sessions. Some of you guys take yourself out of the game before you even start the game by thinking too much. You can't think too much. It's not chess, right? It's a game of reactions. You know, you can have a coach can have a game plan, but that other team, we don't know what the other team about to do, right? So we got to go out there and play. We got to go out there and adjust on the fly. Okay, that's the same thing with life. And that's why I always say basketball. We're teaching life skills through basketball, pretty much. And that's what it is, man. You gotta learn how to adjust on the fly. So you never know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. So you just gotta keep fighting and adjusting on the fly. And what you guys think is issues and problems is nothing. It's nothing. All right. So yeah, that guy may be stopping you from getting a rebound. How can you adjust and get around that guy the next play? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You gotta learn how to adjust on the fly, pretty much.
So when you get frustrated with teammates, or coaches, or the message, or there's a bit of a misunderstanding between say me and a player, or coach to player, or player to player, how do we just tell them that there's no intent? Times there are some arrogant players that try and upset. There's just, but the overall averages, the teammates are there to be teammates. That's why they're there. How do we let them know that people aren't really trying to intentionally not give you this or not do that or make a mistake or not hit a shot? Yeah, they've missed 3 in a row, but they're not intentionally missing.
Right.
How do we change that? Because this is the half-hour problem, not here, generically. That's where we're at. We forget about the game, we forget about these things, which ruins our game, which means our individual development, we hold ourselves back.
Right.
Our internal development is erratic. We get erratic behaviour, erratic decisions, erratic results. How do you give advice on that?
Like you said, the individual development is what's really important. but what are you doing with that individual development? Are you bringing your best to the team? Are you playing your role on the team? Are you doing exactly what the coach wants you to do? Because the coach may want you to do something, but you want to become that James Harden scorer. You see what I'm saying? It's not too many James Harden scorers out here. You have to do what's best for you and the team. All right. So, like I said, is that my phone?
That's up before.
Okay. Like I said before, you have to bring. I'm sorry. I'm trying to see what this beeping noise is.
I think it's the automated external defibrillator.
It's killing me, y'all.
Whose heart's up?
I know what it is.
Why didn't you
Hey,
say
is Dave awake? Defib.
Sometimes I don't.
I'm back. No, I'm sorry about that. What was this question?
So we're talking about individual and how you become a better individual and within the team and how you doing the right things as an individual,
Yeah,
your teammates.
just grinding and focusing on what your individual talent is. When I was a high school player, I didn't have the best shot. I was more of a slasher, driver, athletic finisher at the rim. But once I got to college, I knew that I needed to work on my jump shot. And I think Ryan Dumars, which is Joe Dumars' nephew, which was working for the Pistons, he was a scout for the Pistons. He's actually down here living and working at the plants now. But I give that to him, man. He actually had me in the gym all summer working on my shot because I knew that I needed to become a shooter at the next level. I was going to be playing the 2-3 instead of the 3-4. You see, when I was in college, I was a whole other position than professional. So it's just, like I said, adjusting on the fly. That's what life is about. Just staying dedicated and working on your craft.
Obviously, if you're a good teammate, you'll become a good individual player anyway.
Yeah.
Because you help each other, you support each other.
Let me go ahead and piggyback on that. Every team that I went to overseas was kind of like crazy because not trying to big up on myself, but I was different from the other imports. All the imports, as you see it,
what?
in the NBL.
What?
No. They actually go over there just to try to score the ball and just to get buckets. I was that guy that wanted to get a stop, and like I said, I was still averaging my 15 points per game, but at the same time, I was a team player, and that's why I strived myself on becoming different. You gotta be different. There's a million kids in the world that's your age, all of you guys. Million kids in the world, million girls and boys that want to be on a college level playing basketball, want to go professional playing basketball. What's going to set you apart from the rest? Is it going to be your work ethic, your school, grades? What is it going to be? So I found in myself, I knew that if I had an opportunity to play professional basketball, it wasn't. I couldn't get satisfied. Well, okay, I'm here. No, I couldn't be satisfied with making $1,500 a month. I could have stayed at McDonald's and did that. My first year overseas, I could have stayed at McDonald's and worked and made the same amount of money that I did my first year overseas. So, like I say, man, everything's a grind, and that's my life story. That's my life story.
Oh, I see. To be a better individual, you can't do it without your teammates.
Yep.
And if someone's scoring on your team and they're doing a lot of scoring, but you're doing your job to make them score better,
I'm happy.
and that's where I think a lot of people get lost because the score sheet says otherwise.
I've never been the guy that was jealous of my teammates' success or anything. That's like a brother to me. You know, we battling in practice, we grinding. Yeah, you're going to get into it with your brother all the time, like brothers and sisters do. But like you say, when you're on the team, you have it's like a sister or a brother to you. And you can never be jealous of their success because you're helping them. They couldn't be successful without you. It's all a role. It's all a team role, and pretty much it's like you say, it's different roles. Everybody got to play their part. Just like assistant coaches, everybody's not a head coach. You got assistant, you got the first assistant. You got the head coach, you got the first assistant, and you have those. They go right down the line. That's how basketball is. Everybody thought the Houston Rockets wasn't going to be successful because they had two top scorers, which is Westbrook and Harden. But look at them; they're sharing the ball and they're playing well. So you just got to play your role. You got to play your role and bring your individual talent and your individual skill set to that team and do whatever coach wants you to do. I never went against any of my coaches. Whatever, like I say, I hated playing the 4 in college, but I had to do it because I knew if I wanted some playing time, that's what I had to do.
If you're sitting in the grandstand, I said, I need you to watch my team and give me a bit of a perspective view on how things look. What's probably two, three things that you hate seeing, how players or coaches, or the reaction, what do you hate the most that you see when you're watching from the grandstand? 3 things that just stand out that you think.
If I was a college coach, I'm going to say this. If I was a college coach and I came to a high school game or something, I'm going to let Ryan see. I'm going to see if Ryan know me. What would I say?
If you came to
If I was a college coach and I came to your game, what would I say stick out the most? What's the first thing? What's the coach looking at? What type of player you are? Your body language.
Yeah,
Body language.
Can you repeat that?
Body language tells everything.
Can you say it again?
What type of
With
player
the
you
word
are?
going body language after that.
Body language, and I've seen it in text messages and everything from college coaches saying that they were very interested in this kid right here. Went to a game, just the body language, the attitude. He walked out before the second half, and just crossed the name out the list just because of that. Like, they could have been having a perfect game, but just that body language and attitude towards your teammates, it's a cancer. And that carries over to other teammates and to kill a team. But going back to what you asked me, body language, are they communicating with their teammates? And energy for me, energy.
That make sense, guys?
Body language, communication, and energy. Basketball comes second. I mean, the plays and all that stuff, that'll fall in line. But are you out there communicating with your teammates positively? It's 2 different ways to communicate. Body language, when you get a turnover, you put your head down, or your teammate turn the ball over. Are you pouting and doing all this other stuff? And energy, playing with energy every play. If you're going to be on the court, you might as well go hard. If you need a break, tell the coach. He'll be happy to take you out to get you some more and put you back in. But if you're just out there wasting time and reps and that's it. And it's the same thing with training sessions. I tell a kid, I tell a kid, if you come in the gym, don't come here wasting my time. Don't come wasting my time because I could be doing something else. And energy and all that plays a huge part in a player's success.
And we haven't had this discussion, have we?
No. Is that what he preached?
Pretty much.
What's the top 3 things that he say?
Attitude, it's pretty much the
Pretty
whole
much
thing.
same
It's
thing.
true. Yeah.
You want to disagree?
No.
Yeah. So
And we haven't had a conversation, trust me.
never talk about it. Never talk about it. That's
I was just curious.
Basketball minds. That's it. And college coaches, like you say, college coaches look for that. I've been talking to a couple of my friends and trying to network and different things like that. And that's why we showcase you guys over here, because you never know who's watching. That's why I post these videos or these pictures on social media. That's why I went live on Facebook, because you never know who's tapping in. I have college coaches and assistant coaches that's friends of mine and been friends of mine for a long time just because of basketball, and that I get that's another conversation, but they can easily, hey, who's this kid? Who's number 5? Or who's that kid? Oh yeah, they're interested in coming over here in the States to play. I even had some what do you call it? What's the word of it? The families that
Exchange
students, yeah. Exchange program. the kids come over and play basketball in the high school setting, and maybe you never know what happened from there. So there's always opportunity every time you guys step on a court. Don't think that nobody's looking at you. Somebody's looking at you, and somebody's always paying attention. So go hard every time up and down. Every time you step in between those four lines, it's go time.
And how it looks is how it looks.
Exactly.
So, how you feel, guys? Is it doing good?
Yeah.
So, question time for you from you kids, because some of you might be thinking, oh, you're either listening to it, some of you think it's not you, and that's okay, because we're not trying to force things upon you.
Not at all.
But the question now is, what do you want to find out? Opportunity now is it's time to. This is where that the Mavs can. Don't sit back and go, I wish I had it. Like you said, a closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Yeah. And no question is a dumb question or a silly question. All right.
If you've got like a few opportunities that you can go for and there are different pathways for you, how do you know which is best for yourself?
If you have a lot of opportunities on the table, you got to sit down and write down what's the positive and the negatives of both. So, what I'm thinking is you have a lot of opportunities to come to the States and play. You got to find out if the city is nice. Is it a small town, or just the situation. Just put them on a scale and see which ones balance out the positive and the negatives. All right, and like I say, I like your game. You had everybody in the gym last night asking, saying positive things about you, and that's across the board for the girls. You guys did amazing last night. The boys, you did all right. But the girls, you girls played like you've been playing together for a long time, and that stood out. Like you say, you never know who's watching, but all the coaches in the gym, all the referees, are like, man, that team been playing together for a long time. No, y'all just basketball minds, and you guys train with the best over there in Melbourne, and it shows. Like you say, if you put in the work, the result will show. So, like I say, just balance it out, and I think that you'll be successful over here in the States.
And that's trusting each other as well.
Yeah.
Trusting you too much. And going with Bailey's, I'll give you two girls I know that come over here. One wanted she just wanted to be in that busy, big, huge school. Mm-hmm. Maddie. Then you got Cassie Gould, who just wanted to be in a quiet. She could have gone to the big schools as well, but she just wanted to go to Davidson. You know what? I think it's 2,000 population. Yeah. It's her. It suited her mindset. It suited what she needed. She got her personal time, personal space, and was still playing at the highest level. She just didn't need to be in the busy city. But some people that's what they need. Yeah. There's no right or wrong. It's just I need that busy. Some people just need that quiet.
And going to a smaller school, smaller town may be good for you, so you can focus more. Some people need that focus time. So coming from a bigger, I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, and I live here in Lake Charles, and going from one side to another side is 10 minutes away, and it's very small here. So I thought it was. I never knew that I'll be living here. I always wanted to go to Houston. I always wanted when I retired, I wanted to move to Houston, but I was like, man, it'd be a good opportunity for me to raise a family in a smaller city, and that's what I needed to slow myself down a little bit. So it was good for me. So like I say, just weigh out your options and see what's best for you. If you ever need some help from me, I'm always open. Like I say, you guys have my Instagram. You can send me a message or email, whatever. Text me whenever. All right. If you guys have any questions or anything.
So you said you were more of a defender, like playing professionally in that. Mm-hmm. What was your mentality going onto the court, knowing you had to guard someone that was like known for getting buckets and scoring in that, or humiliating defenders?
I'm a stopper. That was it. I had that Pat Beverly attitude, man. And a lot of people hate Pat Beverly, but I kind of love him because he played with such energy, man. His energy is crazy. And his mindset, he got to go against the best. He got to go against James Harden, LeBron James. My energy, I played against some NBA talent overseas when I played against Kareem Rush. Guys probably don't know Kareem Rush. He played for the Lakers and some other NBA guys. But when I did go against those guys, I'm gonna make a name for myself, like I said. So if I stop you on this end, I'm trying to get a bucket on the other end. But my main thing was getting that stop first. Offense is coming. I figured I'm gonna get a stop and I'm running. that was my game. I like to get up and down. So just making a name for yourself, man. You know if you hold this guy under 10 points, who's gonna be the talk of the game? You see what I'm saying? So my thing was, man, I'm gonna stop this guy. And I went up against some top scorers and held them under 10 points or something like that. But and that lit me. I mean that made my day. I was good. So that's pretty much it.
So just for you, one I learned back home, Joey Wright. He says someone's averaging 30 points a game. And you shut him down 25. Don't try and shut down 30 points. Just try and keep him below his average to start with. You get better at that. But what everyone tries to do is, I need to stop him from shooting a basket. No, keep him below his average. Take him out what he's been doing throughout the whole league and keep him below the line. And you stay below the lines and you start getting more confident at it. But just don't think shut down 30 points. Just shut down, stay below the line.
If a guy averages 25 points, he's going to score.
Can't stop.
He's going to score.
That's how you got to think.
But are you going to score on me playing my best defense? Probably. You're going to score a couple of times, but I'm going to get the best. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you're going to make a shot with my hand up, are you going to make a shot with me pressuring you? It's different things like that. It's the little things that count, man. It's the little things that count. You're not going to stop the guy every possession, no. All right, so yeah, I got buckets scored on me. I got dunked on before, because I went up to go contest that dunk or different things like that. But that's next play. Let's go.
Yeah, for the people that are more defensive minded rather than offense, what's something to work on? Like, obviously with offense, you got certain drills to get your jump shot better and stuff like that. But for the guys that really like to stay locked in on defense, what's some stuff that can work out off the court?
Like I said, it's the little things that count, man. Getting a charge, that ignites a team. I say it all the time to my team. I have an AU team here, which is ninth graders now, but it'll be ninth grade team. Step up and get the charge. Step up and get the charge. Make sure you're in help side defense. Make sure you're not. You can also be selfish on defense if you guys didn't know that. You guys knew that? No? Yes? You can be selfish on offense and defense. Being selfish on defense means I'm not in my help side position. If somebody's driving, I'm not cutting them off. Just being there for the team on defense in your spots. So when coaches, I don't know if you guys run shell drill over there.
Oh, they go through the process.
Yeah. What's gonna separate you from the rest on defense is just, like I say, energy. Watch Pat Beverly, man. Like I said, I love him on defense. He gets under the offensive player scheme. Are you poking at the ball, or are you boxing out every possession? Different things like that, just little things like that, man. So moving your feet, footwork. I'm not gonna say hate. I just like doing footwork drills. I did them so much. we did it every day before practice for about 10-15 minutes overseas. But it helped me a lot on offense and the defensive end. So when coach pull out that ladder in practice, or he say go hit the ladder drill to improve your footwork and agility, and it's going to help you. It's going to help you, trust me.
They love it.
I love it. I mean, like I say, I love it. But I did it so much, I was like, oh man, again?
We've done this closeout drill doing that. They hate it. But
yeah. So,
they do it well.
So footwork, man. Footwork, working on your quickness, and just having that grit and your grind to stop that offensive player. That's it.
Bryce?
So since I'm in Australia, what I want to do is I want to try and play college.
Mm-hmm.
So would you have any tips on how to get there?
There's so many levels to this basketball thing, man. They have NAIA, they have Division II, they have Division III. You can play on a college level, just depending on what your work ethic is. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What grade you in?
11 next year.
11 next year. So continue to come on these trips, man. Continue to come on these trips. Continue to do great things in Australia. Continue to stay in the gym. Get a lot of shots up. How tall are you?
Yeah. 6'1" almost.
6'1". Okay, so you're gonna probably have to be what a 2-3 swing man. So there's plenty of opportunities for you. If you have that dream, keep it going. Don't let nobody say, "Oh man, you're crazy for thinking that you can play over in the States." You see what I'm saying? So I've had people tell me all the time, my dream was to go play professional basketball, and I did it for 8 years. And nobody probably believed in me. Coming out of college, I was in Detroit, and I actually drove to Boston with one of my teammates to a showcase. And my first contract came from that. And like I said, you never know who's watching you. Go with your best effort, best attitude. Good things happen, man. All right?
Yeah.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Question? We happy with that? Ben?
Where do you see your academy in the next 5 years? So, like, what's your vision?
My vision is to
Merger transition sports, what?
I mean,
my vision is with the academy is to build a facility like Coach Darren has here, he has going over there. I want 4-court facility, weight room, and different things like that. But the vision just to reach every kid around, man. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to help kids believe in what they want to believe in, you know. Give them the tools that they need and just see what happens. That's about it, man. It's to reach every kid that I can. That's my vision. Yes, sir.
Talking about defence, one of the things I keep trying to teach my kids is to step up and take that charge. Biggest problem I see with the kids, they're scared of getting hurt. How do they convince themselves that I tell them, if you brace yourself, you know it's coming, it doesn't hurt.
Right.
These kids can't accept that.
Oh man, y'all, and I was just talking great things about y'all toughness. That's what everybody in the stands, man. These kids play tough, way tougher than our kids over here. I was like, man, they play football with no pads on. So they grow up on that. So they're a little bit more physical, and that's what the NBL was when I got there. It was physical, and I had to adjust. That's the word, adjust again. To playing on more of a physical, more of a slower league. Like I say, my game was up and down, but I had to adjust to playing in that physical atmosphere. And stepping up and taking that charge, like you say, you're doing your team a favor. All right, you getting that possession, the momentum switch. You can change a whole game from a charge, and it happens. It happened. You can be down 10 points and just step up and take a charge. You can change the whole game, and you can't be afraid at all. You can't be afraid at all. Step up and take a charge.
Let's take the first one.
Take one for the team, man. Take one for the team.
I agree with that. Anyone else?
Like I say, any question is personal, anything. So,
was there ever a time, like while playing, that you had a problem mindset-wise? Like, say you were down on confidence or something like that?
life is a roller coaster, right? And I learned that in my early days. So playing basketball became easy when I had situations where my shot wasn't falling. I knew it was going to come back to me because, you know, shoot a slump. You got to get your reps up. Keep shooting, right? It's like life hits you down and knock you on your knees one day. What you going to do, stay on your knees? You got to get back up and keep pushing, man. So everything that I experienced in basketball it was easy. It was easy because I've been through a lot in life, and my mom and my family just kept me going. It became easy, man. So it really wasn't any hard roadblocks in basketball.
Your outside life made you stronger for it.
Yeah, most definitely. And basketball, like going through situations in basketball, helped me through life. That's why I say we're teaching. That's what my thing is for the program. We're teaching life skills through basketball. It's bigger than basketball. We're helping and mentoring boys and girls that's going through their situations or going through it in school. It's not a huge issue. Whatever you're going through, you can get through it. Some of you guys are having problems with your school. Well, you guys don't have school basketball here, but over here, some of my kids have a problem with their school coach. I say, man, listen, that coach is not going to change for you. He's been there for 8 years. You got to adjust to what he wants you to do. You got to adjust to what his program is asking of you, and just be the best for that. You know, yeah, you want to play at the next level, but you got to keep pushing and making yourself better. That's it. Yes, sir.
What happens?
Give me all your questions.
On that, what happens if you have, like, say you're playing high school and you're playing something else?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if you have one coach trying to change, like, make you change your game for one thing, and another coach telling you to do something else? How do you know that, like, what is the right way to go?
Like I say, whatever team that you're playing for, you're gonna have to adjust. If not, you're just gonna have to be sent on the bench, right? So you might as well adjust to get, to help your team win or to help your team be successful.
Question for you, let me help you out. So if me and Coach Dorsey are running two different plays, we run the same play, but we want different variations of the play. That's where you start getting confused with the message. If you're talking about, say, he's teaching you to shoot one way, and like, Coach B's, I'm going to teach you to shoot a different way. When it comes down to skill development,
that's what I was meaning.
That's probably what you're after.
Right.
That's what I'm going to help out.
I've had that a lot from my clients. They come in and tell me, hey, my coach want me to shoot this way, and I'm trying to, kind of trying to fix it and have them shoot the correct way, but it's tough. It's tough to put a player through that. All I can do is give them my knowledge and the best, that I know of, and see what they do with it. But I can't say, oh no, that coach is doing it the wrong way, because that's your school coach or that's your coach. All I can do is give you the knowledge that I have.
And if you say you get 2 different messages or 3 messages, some people get 4 messages.
Mm-hmm.
You got a club coach, you got a domestic coach, you got a school coach, you got a personal coach, you got one dad. Not just generically. So what I always say to kids is, we go try and change your shot. Let's just try it first. Let's just try and see what works and what we teach and blah, blah, blah. Now, what happens is, if you go and work out what works better for you, so if you're a finger shooter or a palm shooter, there's a big debate about that. But if what you decide to do works best for you and you've got the learnings, you should go home 6 days, those 7, next time you say next coach, and work on what works for you. Because every time you go and you look better at it, the other coach is going to say, your shot's getting better. They'll take credit for it. They didn't make the change. They're giving you the opposite message. But if you're getting better, and say, see, what you should have listened to.
If you hit the shot, you on the back.
But you got to find what works for you. He might be what part of his army teaches and say my footwork, whatever. If you marry it, that's what I did when I was coaching, when I was playing. Marry it and then work on it. So no coach wants to say, I need to work on your shot, because you've already done it. Would you say it's fair?
Right. You can look at, what is it, the guy that plays, his name is LaMelo. Which one plays?
LaMelo, is that in
LaMelo plays in NBA, right?
NBA.
I always get them too confused.
Lonzo plays in NBA.
Who? Lonzo, yeah. Lonzo. You can look at his shot. They tried to work on it. They tried to work. He was imitating it. They tried to work on it in the New Orleans Pelicans, where he's playing it now. So it's kind of it's not this anymore, and he made that adjustment of coming from here with it, and it looks better. He's starting to hit it more often. Like you say, like Coach said, you got to do what works best for you. Because at the end of the day, if you're hitting that shot, or if you're dribbling the ball better, or if you're becoming a better defender, coach is going to pat you on the back and say, hey, you're doing a good job. So everybody there's no perfect way of doing it, man. Everybody's in here built different. All right, everybody has their own way of doing it. So if you're successful at doing it your way, or you know the way that you're taught, then you gotta stick with it.
And if someone wants to change something you're doing, just get explanation for it. Don't just, if I say, Coach T, use your palm now, not your fingers. He's not just going to say, yeah. He should say, but why is that?
Exactly. If he can't explain to you, then you shouldn't be in the gym with him.
Well, you get you go next step.
You shouldn't be in the gym with him. I explain everything and a reason behind everything that I teach.
And you would show it.
Yeah.
Now, if they can't shoot, just say, well, you can't shoot. So, well, so I'm a bit confused, mate. So if you can't do it, but you want me to do it, you can actually have a nice conversation to try and work out, well, he just might want to have a say in what you do. So you can actually play the messages.
Yeah. I mean, and like you say, I never bad talk a coach at all because they're in there helping kids. Some coaches know more than other coaches. Yeah, you're always going to find that. I'm still learning in the coaching game, and I'm still learning every day in this training business that we have going on. But I don't go to YouTube or all these other little outlets or watch YouTube or Instagram videos and say, I can do this in my practice. No, I'm just giving everything that I've learned playing professional, college, high school, all the knowledge that the coaches gave me. I'm just giving it back to the kids. And that's pretty much, that's what makes our program different from others.
Purpose and intent.
Yep.
Reason.
Yeah.
Who feels it will mean AD is very similar in what we do? The ones who've been part of TS.
Yeah.
And guess what? Yeah, we may not know each other, but we've never spoken about philosophies, teachings and learnings. We've never had this discussion. This is actually probably the real first time we're getting a really feel of what do we actually do and teach. I think we know what we do, and people talk about it, we talk about AD, maybe talk about there's something similar going on here, but we never really had this chat. So just say no, this has not been set up.
No,
this is real. This is raw and real. Hence why we had this conversation.
And I like what you told me earlier when we had a little conversation about how you. I'm asking the kids. How many of you guys train with Coach D?
Oh, sometimes.
All right, when you first walked into the gym, just run it down to me. What happened? Oh, you're his daughter. I can actually.
Hey, she was there when we were building everything. She's going, we gotta build the car.
I'm gonna go over here and tell her. What's your name? Bailey. Like when you first walked into how did you hear about it?
Been family friends with the Hindles for a long time now.
Okay. Your first day in the gym.
Really nerve-wracking going there and mum and dad trying to influence me to go there for a couple of years, and I finally got up the courage when I was about 11, I think. And it was a one-on-one with Darren.
It was a one-on-one with Darren?
Yeah, and it was.
What did you guys sit down and face-to-face?
Well, first of all, I think he got me on the court and basically said, show me what you got.
Yeah.
And I was like, sweet, and gave him all I got. And it was just the most welcoming thing. Like, I had never experienced someone that had loved me so much without even really knowing me. And he's gonna start crying, so I'm not gonna. So yeah, it's just on a whole nother level, and the whole program is just based around so many personal things, and I think everyone can relate that it is life changing, and you really just do feel like a different person.
Right, and that's what I love what he said. He said the first time I meet a person, we're going to the gym and train, but at the same time, I'm going to get inside your head and see who you are, what you're about, what you bring to the table, what you want to get better at, different things like that. I want to know you, pretty much, right? Yeah. It was bigger than basketball when you first went in there and talked to me. The conversation was personal, right? So that's what I'm gonna start bringing that to my program more. You know, I do it already, but it's really about the first time they come into the gym, or the first time they walk into the doors of RD Hoop Stores. I want to know who you are. I want to get personal with you and see what you're about and tap into that head first. Mental is everything. If you're strong mentally, then everything else is easy. and that's why you see me smiling today. Pretty much everything else becomes easy because I'm a strong mental person, and like I say, just got the faith of God and family and friends and support from the community, and seeing you young faces, smiles, it just keeps us going, man. So just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, and I wish all of you guys the best of luck coming up and going forward. Hopefully I type on the internet and see some of you guys coming over here to high schools and getting that college scholarship that you guys dream of doing. But my thing is hey, just stay committed, stay dedicated, stay working on your craft. Yes, ma'am.
I was going to go back to what you were saying. One thing I really noticed as a parent, you walk in and it's like a family.
Yes, ma'am.
Like Daz and all the coaches will come and greet all the parents as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the children, and you feel really welcome when you're there. That you're not in the way, or you're part of the journey with them.
Yes, ma'am.
Lets me in the kitchen to cook my dinner.
Everyone's greeted. Everyone's
yes, ma'am.
treated the same. Everyone feels welcome.
It's well. Let me go ahead and piggyback on what you just said. You guys we set up a dinner for later on, right? Walk-ons. My wife canceled that. We're going to have dinner at my house, and she opened up the door for you guys to come over and eat at our house. And one of my friends who cooked yesterday, he loves cooking. That's all he loves. He want to open up his truck later down the line, food truck or restaurant or something like that. But he's cooking red beans and rice for you guys, and barbecue chicken, and cornbread. So it's the Southern house. That's what got me down here. The Southern hospitality, and that's what's kind of got installed in me as well. That Southern hospitality. When I go back to Detroit, it's a little different. It's a little different vibe. I'm still in my Southern hospitality mindset. Hey, what's up? Speaking to everybody, and they looking at me. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of funny, but
Gotta adjust.
Yeah, you gotta adjust, man. And that's what I loved about Australia. Australia welcomed me with warm arms. When I was in Cairns, Melbourne, I just fell in love with Australia, and that's why we're here today. How did we even meet, man?
I think someone has spoken about you, and then Larry had spoken about you.
Larry. Yeah.
And then he goes, then DRD and you got talking.
Yeah.
I said, in coincidental, someone had spoken about you.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether you'd actually, something happened. I said, but Larry,
we weren't even following each other.
Something happened.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. And then we forced to drive here 2 years ago. We drove 7 hours.
Yeah.
Hang out.
Yeah.
And drove back 7 hours.
Sure did. Wow.
After we stopped for dinner. And we nearly killed ourselves. But
2 years ago,
it was worth it.
He had a program that came out here, and we had a team session, training session, and that was a great success as well. Another step to what we want to strive of doing in the program. My goal is to take a United States team and bring them over there to Australia. I haven't been back to Australia since I left with the Melbourne Tigers, but it's coming soon. All right, so
I'm trying to convince Eddie to come down soon and later, just fly in a couple of days, just come in a couple of days on his own, come in, hang out with us, and just again come back and then analyse what we do and then what he does and how the conduit between all the connection can actually potentially.
We definitely have a training camp and something big is going to pop up. I don't do nothing small. When it's like Coach Darren.
I'm sure I'm very small about things.
He asked to do the event that happened last night. It was only supposed to be 3 teams, and then I don't know, maybe I overread it. I didn't know that you were bringing a girls team, so I hurry up and said, hey, you want to play this girls team, this and that. So it became a 6-team event. And it only can get better from here. And I have a lot of connections that I'm gonna tap into next year, bringing teams in from Houston and other places in Louisiana, maybe even tapping into a team coming from Detroit. So, like I say, it's all about networking and leaving a good impression on your people or whoever that you affect.
In those small comments between coaches last night.
Say it again.
In the small comments on the Facebook.
Oh yeah,
coaches
they spoke a lot, man.
It was just very. You just feel it. Just felt like it was very wow. We made impact and vice versa. So
yeah, and me just having that vision, man, and Coach Darren helping out a lot and transition Horizon. I'm sorry. Horizon Sports Group, yeah. Just backing everything and all our sponsors. I raised $1,200 in I want to say a week. $1,200 in a week, and that's just the love that the community and the small business around here show to our program. Just imagine how much I can raise in a year to help a team go overseas, and that's not even, you know what I'm saying. It's just little things like that, man, and it blows me away just to show. I guess I'm doing something right.
you do things the right reasons.
I guess I'm doing something right, but I never look at it as it's me. It's all God's work, man. It's all God's work at the end of the day. People say, "Oh, you're doing great things." That's God's work. God placed me here on this earth to do something, and I'm just living his path that He had for me. So,
we're gonna write a book, you and me.
I want to write a book, man.
You read one, then you write one.
Yep. Sounds good, man.
All right,
got another question? I know you got one more in there. Come on, give it to me. You good? Anybody else?
Who was the toughest player you went up against playing professional?
That's tough. I would have to say when I went to the Spurs camp, yeah, God knows. Actually, Gary Neal was there. You guys know Gary Neal? He was the guy that made the team. That's who they had their eyes on him already. He was averaging like 25, 30 points overseas, and they brought him in. And he did well for the Spurs for about 3 or 4 years. But Ginobili probably, when I was at the Spurs camp. Ginobili, real crafty, shifty, can handle the ball. You guys know who he is. I don't have to explain it. And it was amazing, man. It was a great experience just being in the practice facility. I even tried out for the D-League team for the Houston Rockets as well. I don't think any of the NBA guys was there at the D-League practice or anything, but the Spurs was probably the toughest guy I had to guard on a professional level.
Any other questions? Brother?
Quite often, I think most teams face a person that can be quite kind of difficult to work with and create a bond with in the team.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make it easier to create a relationship with not just that person, but the whole team?
I've been on a couple of teams where, like you said, that one person always want to be the eyeball. Just got to keep them just got to keep them close. Just got to keep them close. Don't let them be a cancer to the team. Don't allow it. If they get out of hand, just, hey, you got to become that bigger person. You got to become that leader and pull them to the side and have that communicate, that conversation with them and say, hey, look, this is what this coach is not about this. The program is not about this. Either you're going to straighten up or you're off the team, pretty much, you know. Hey, that's how you got to step into it. Like, you got to become a leader, and that's going to help you through life as well.
I said to the boys last night, it could be a problem player or a problem, but the problem is a lot of people talk about the problem, but don't find a solution to the problem.
Right.
And the more you talk about it, then you become the problem. So if you know it's a problem, it's got to be addressed.
You got to be addressed.
It doesn't have to be a directive at, it could be a, hey, can we have a conversation?
Yeah.
How can I be better? So say me and RD's doing my head in. RD, how can I be a better teammate for you? That's how you can start a conversation. It's like I go to a coach, instead of saying how I get more court time, hey coach, how can I bring more value to the team? How you word it, you get them in, and then you might realise it's not as bad as I thought, or we just create a connection.
Like you say, the problem may not be as bad as you think, but as you form groups, you're only making it worse. And we've had a lot of sit down talks on my professional level, even in college and high school, but on a professional level, we had a lot. When things weren't going right, the coach is not in the room, it's just the player. And we put all our problems on the table, put everything in on the table, and we walked out knowing that, okay, it's not as bad as, like Coach said, it's not as bad as we think. So, communication. Communication is everything. Communication goes a long way I know my parents back there with marriage. You gotta communicate. Marriage and everything, man. Communicating with your boss at school. I mean, not at school, but communicating with your boss in the workplace. I know some of you guys may have jobs. Yeah? You gotta communicate with your boss, right? If not, you're just gonna hate going to work every day. So, I found that helped me out a lot, especially when I was working in the school system. I kind of I hit a tough wall going into the school system. You know, those kids got to me. So just communicating with the kids and the principal and the assistant principal. You just got to have that open communication with everybody around in your workplace or on your team.
So what do you think, guys?
Yes, sir.
I just got one. We talked a lot about defense,
Mm-hmm.
Dorsey, but can we talk about offense?
Yeah.
So you hit a buzzer beater in Australia.
Yeah.
Is that for Cairns or?
That was for Cairns. Yeah.
That was for Cairns.
The best moment of my life.
What was going through? What happened just leading up to that? Like, why did you take it?
Oh man, I thought we were about to go home. In the I think they hit a shot before that, and coach called a timeout. So I think we were down 2, maybe.
I don't know. You were playing the game.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I think we were down 2. I forget. It's been a long time ago, but I remember it like it was yesterday. I think we were down 2. They hit a New Zealand Breakers. They hit a shot. We were down 2 points. We was on the bench. I'm sitting like, man, I'm not ready to go home. That's what I told Allende. I said, I'm not ready to go home, man. we about to win this game. Come on.
Was that a final or something?
That was the game 2. If we would have lost that game, we would have been going home. So we ended up winning that game to go back to a game 3 in New Zealand for the grand final. But we won. We ended up winning game 2. I don't know if you guys saw it on YouTube, but it's on YouTube. You can go ahead and type it in, check it out. It's the biggest shot of my life. and I still joke with the Cairns Taipei, the Orange Army fans over there about it.
So did coach set up a play for you to score? Or did you take it on when you're on the court when you got the ball?
I believe he did. He did set it up for me to score. It was a full court length, so I had to come down to get the ball. I think it was a screen that was supposed to have been set, but I ended up going behind my back, driving full force. I don't know what happened after that. I went down, I gave a little push off, hit the buzzer, hit the shot to take us into overtime. That wasn't even a game winner. That took us into overtime, and then we won it in overtime. So, yeah. So the crowd was behind us. It was just the most amazing shot of my life, man. And that's why I say Australia will always have a warm spot in my heart, man. I love Australia. Yeah.
You did amazing for Australia.
Oh yeah.
How you feel, guys?
Amazing.
Yeah. So what do you? Just go. Oh, another question. Oh, no question. Just questions quickly. Is reflection. What did you get out of the conversation? Listening in from the outside, looking in. Did it make more sense about what we've been trying to tell you the last few days and weeks and continuing for a long time? Did it start to make sense? Have all the things that have been, the messages have been coming out from Doors, me, Cavs, the Mavs, your teammates, the environment. Does it make sense now, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Was it worth it?
Yeah.
I'm proud of you all because I think I want to make sure tonight we tick the big box because I think this is the core of the trip. So I want to say we're forever grateful for the opportunity you've given us, setting up this round robin adversity for us because we were coming, so you put something together for us, giving us the time for the weekend without family time. You know, I've got City, she's part of the family, but you know, your wife's still at home, Carmen's still at home. So we appreciate you, thank you, and this will not be the last visit, the last connection. What's going to happen?
I always love when you guys come in town, man. Like I said, it gives me that little piece of Australia again, hearing the accent. I love it, man. My daughter, I guess, had that connection. That's why her name is Sydney, because she wasn't born in Sydney. She wasn't born in Sydney, but that's my little piece of Australia right there. So she loved you guys. I don't know what you did to her. She want to go back to Australia now.
I've been in my backpack, so
she want to go back to Australia with you guys. But I love all you guys. Thank you for coming over here, showing good sportsmanship, being great ambassadors for Australia. You guys left a good taste in everybody's mouth around here. Just keep doing what you guys are doing, man. Just keep doing what you guys are doing and continue to work hard on whatever you do. All right, and that's pretty much my final words. Man, I don't have that long speech or anything, but just continue to work hard, man. Just continue to work hard.
I suppose we've got to do an extra appreciation on going to the personal side. That's not easy for people to do. Some people might do it well, some people don't, but you don't know the impact it may have or the effect it'll have. But we're very grateful for letting us into your private space.
Oh yeah, and it helps me out. It helps me out a lot just talking about it. Like I say, some people don't like to talk about their problems or their issues or whatever that's going on, the loved ones that they lost, but it helps me, you know, it's a relief, you know, so I don't mind sharing it. His name will always continue to live on. My dream is, well, not my dream, but my goal is to start a scholarship fund for him under his name. So Jalen Dorsey Scholarship Fund will be coming to 2021, and it'll be given to an athlete that's going off to school. You never know. Never know. You never know. Yeah. So I'll raise the money for that, and hopefully it'll bless a young one.
That's awesome. All right, give him a clap. Good job. Awesome. All right. That's it. Loosen up now.